What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Break It Down, the show where we speak directly to the artists and hear the story behind the creative process for some of these amazing songs, music videos, and albums. For our first episode, it's only fitting we have the award-winning MC, producer, engineer, artist, all around hardworking, one of the hardest working dudes in the business, my man M. Dot. What's happening?
What's going on, brother? Appreciate you having me. How's Florida?
No complaints. Living that flow life, baby.
Yeah. It's hot today. It's in the 90s, man.
It's hot.
90.
It's hot down here every day.
No, I meant this is like a heat wave, so it's been bad weather, and now it's like in the 90s every day. It's like do the right thing,
For some of the fans listening, tell them a little bit about what you've been working on lately, music-wise.
Okay, so Ego and the Enemy 2, obviously I've been trying to, it's finished. We were on tour with the Atonement, that first single from the album, and then all the tours got shut down. So I came home, I've been producing. We're about to put out Dining in Dystopia. This is the first place that I've said this. And that's, like almost like a holdover warm up till Ego 2. And yeah, man, that's gonna be crazy. So Conway's on it, RJ Payne's on it, Cool G Rap's on it. A lot of dope production, and then as soon as that comes out, we're gonna put that out with Burning Nail, a vinyl distributor in Germany and Switzerland, and then we're gonna hopefully finally get to release Ego 2, and I'm working on a production album, an album with Big Sugar, a lot of stuff. Like, I mean, these projects are like done, so we want to start touring again so that we can have the ability to sell the stuff at shows, and have shows where the product we can perform the songs and stuff, not just put it out, do it properly, like the old school way, I guess.
Yeah, no days off. True testament to the hard work that you put in and day out. This is the inaugural episode. What we want to do when we bring an artist on, especially like yourself, we want to hear the story behind the creative process, kind of peek behind the curtain. There's a lot that goes into these songs. People don't understand the blood, sweat, and tears, the time, the money, re-recording, everything else. And so today I want to talk about the Atonement. Let's break it down. This song, like you said, is one of the first singles from Ego and the Enemy 2, yet to be released, the full album. Produced by Pete Rock. Why don't you tell us how you linked up with Pete Rock?
It's funny you said Blood, Sweat, and Tears. That's actually the first song on the Dining in Dystopia. I meant to tell you that. So yeah, I mean, firsthand, which is the coolest part, is the Atonement. We were on tour. I actually remember that show vividly because I remember you coming out of the back door with like a group behind you with like a cloud of smoke. You guys were outside for a while. Meta P, shout out to Meta P. I got to give him all the credit. He, after the show, or after we performed, he went and chilled with Pete upstairs, and they were kicking it, and he had my vinyl. Meta P was like, helping me like sell the vinyl and stuff like that. He had the Running PC vinyl. He had one of the older records we had done, and like Pete had seen it, and he showed it to him, and they had seen our show. He's like, oh shit, like he saw the lineup on the album, and we put that out in 2010. It has a lot of I gotta see, there's like a ton of people on that record, but he was like, that's dope. And Meta P started bigging me up to him, and then we ended up meeting him backstage, and he was super cool. It's nice to see when performers are actually pretty cool, as you know what I mean, and it doesn't always work that way. And so he said he was gonna send some beats, and I didn't hear from him. You know the story. And then we kept on staying in contact. But then I have a friend, Daru Jones, who's a drummer that I met in Pittsburgh when I did a show in Pittsburgh with Mayhem. Actually, we drove 10 hours. I had strep throat, and I went and did the show still. This is like, obviously way before, pre-COVID, where everyone was freaked out, where I went there and I wasn't going to cancel the show because I said I'd be there. And I met Daru, and he was so happy that I kept my word to do the show, and we stayed friends. And now he's drummed for, what is it, the White Stripes? He's drummed for like, yep. He's filled in for the Roots, with Questlove. He's dude, he just put out the album with Pharoah Monch. But anyways, I text him to co-sign me with Pete. Like, yo, tell Pete to send the beats. This is a true story and he was sitting across from him in like Puerto Rico or somewhere. They were like on vacation for a couple of days together. And then, once Pete had gotten that, like, just like, it's like anything, you know what I mean? Like once he was like, oh, you messed with him and boom, like, then the beats got sent. And as you also know, it took like 4 different batches before we found the Atonement, which is actually a cool story too, because how do you write a dude and be like, I like these ones. And another cool part of that story is I was going through the beats like, damn, I want to rock on some of these, you know what I mean? And I started listening to them. And like a couple of them I heard like, after Atonement came out, or excuse me, after like, we had recorded Atonement because it didn't come out for like another year after that. Because Atonement was, we got that beat a year after the show that we had in Switzerland. It was in Chur, Switzerland, CHUR. Yeah. And sorry to get over garrulous here, but I have to tell this part of the story. And a year after that is when we put out, a year after that is when we got the beat. Then a year after that, I think 2020, like I said, is when we were, so like 2018, 2019, so a little bit later, so 2020, whatever. So we recorded in 2019, then we put it out, and that whole story recording, we can get into that. But anyway, I heard Skyzoo's album with Pete Rock, and a couple of those beats that he sent me. It's just dope to hear that, like, those were similar beats that he was, showing Skyzoo. One of the samples that were in the folder was Primo had also used. It's the one like, it's man, that's not gonna help, but whatever. That and I thought that beat was dope, but I recognized the sample and I was like, I'm gonna take a beating for like rocking over something. It was very light. It's the one where he talks about riding from Boston to New York. You know what I mean? You know it if you heard it. It's an old rock song from the 70s and it's like, but anyway, I wish I could think of the name of the record, but I'd heard a couple of the beats later that Skyzoo also, he ended up using. But Atonement, he sent me the folders, and by the 4th batch was when we found that beat. I wrote the record. I recorded at a studio. Begrudgingly, I'm gonna mention that I recorded at a studio, and the dude, like, we never finished it there. He lost, we lost, like, no bad blood, but like he couldn't even get back in the studio. He ended up having a lot of difficulties, and we couldn't finish the record. So I recorded there for like maybe 20 hours, like to get this song right, like over the course of like, a couple months. I'd go there and do a couple, and that sounds wild, but there was a lot of stuff I wanted to do to make this track perfect, like all together. I mean, I wasn't recording 20 hours. I was in the studio, whether it was like me and him hanging out, whether it was like, planning backups, ad libs, whatever. So we're
this was like 2 a.m. sessions too.
2 a.m. sessions, you know. So like when I say 20 hours, I just mean like, 5 sessions of, 4 hours that we not complete on this record. And I never worked like that. Usually it's a lot more efficient, and fuck it, man. You know what I mean? Like, Sip, my man Sip has had a lot of issues and stuff. So he not with me, just like withheld stuff, and we couldn't finish the record. And and we never got, when he did send the files, and they were kind of like out of place, so we couldn't really put them together. That's the real deal, Holyfield type story right there. But he didn't end up putting the files all together. You know what I mean? He didn't do the mixing part of it when he couldn't finish the song. So we're like, you know what? Let's just re-record it. And then I went to Bryce's place in Boston. Shout out to Quiz. And we recorded that. And I'll never forget his neighbor, because he was recording like right on the BU, like right there, like that college area, those houses and apartments, that district, BU. And his story keeps getting better, but a girl comes from downstairs and starts banging on the door, like, what the fuck are y'all recording? You know what I mean? Like, his people, like, we were recording at his crib. He's a sound engineer from Berkeley.
It was in the afternoon too, wasn't it?
was in the afternoon, and we're like, and he's like, oh, fuck her, like da da da. And I'm like, man, you don't want to fuck this up because we can't finish the song. I'm gonna have the same dilemma I had from the last dude that we couldn't finish the song, which was crazy. I never had that because normally I'll just record myself or I'll go to my homie John Glass, who's right down the street in Beverly. I just was like, yo, let me do something different because it's a different record. You know what I mean? Not that I would do a big record with John or over here. It doesn't matter. But like, I was like, and it's crazy that like it didn't need all that. You know what I mean? Like I could have just done it. And then I did it with Bryce, and I liked it. And it took me a while for me to get to love it. And we spent like a long time with tweaks and edits. I wrote that chorus. I performed that chorus. And I didn't like it. I didn't like the way I sang it, So I hit up Core, and Core was like, because Core is the one who gave me the melody. Core's like, you could do this little melody like this on the hook. And I'm like, yo, because I always wanted to, like, I've always wanted to do like, the entire record where I do the verse and the chorus and stuff like that. And like, writing's I've never, I've written all my music my whole life. That's no question. You know what I mean? We're not, that's not even, but I wanted him to show me how to do the melody. And he kind of gave me a little, like, I forget, that's knocking on the front right now. Like he gave me a little melody and I wrote the lyrics, and then I recorded it, and I didn't like how I didn't have a good, my inflection wasn't strong on the record. You know what I mean? And he came in and he sang it, and I'm under him. You can't even hear it, but like I'm layered under him. So, Core's on that song. It doesn't say featuring Core because, we literally didn't plan on him being on it. Like, so that's Core on that chorus. Another fucking, just a gem, just dropping him, just like, dropping him off, man. It was all like, little time capsules, So, but now the plan is to do a video for the song, which we had a date. We had a date for that video, March 23rd. I'll never forget because I didn't get to that date. COVID happened.
Germany? It
was in Germany. And the dude who shot, Arvid was supposed to do it. Arvid, who shot Jumpstart and Ricochet, one of my favorite directors in the world, he was set to do it. And my other homie was set to do the Apollo Brown video, the dude who did Price of Love, shout out to Z Entertainment. Wow, dog. So that shit got shut down, when you hit me up and told me about the Joe Rogan podcast and scared the shit out of me, And now you know what I'm talking about, baby. Not to go down that lane. But I was scared anyway once the next day Trump shut the borders, Tom Hanks got fucking COVID, and then the NBA shut down. And I'm in fucking Cologne, Germany. So I'm like, I'm not going to get home. I just didn't think I was going to get home. I told you I thought I was going to be usurped on my flight, or someone else was going to take my flight. But anyway, that shit, that whole thing was fucking ruined, but we made the best of it. We came home. Yeah. I started producing. Come on. Like, it's just like, it's never been better. We that's what you do, man. You know that you make lemonade. When you get lemons, other people fucking were playing video games and watching Game of Thrones. No disrespect. Like people were binging series, and I'm trying to learn something. You're learning languages. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, one thing one of the reasons I thought the Atonement would be perfect for this first episode is we met Pete Rock in 2017. Yep. Was it a year later we get the beat?
Yep.
You start recording, start working in the other studio. Almost another year goes by.
Another year.
We got that. I had to threaten the dude.
Yeah.
First time I threatened someone in my life, and it actually worked out. And
then we got the files.
And then 2017, 2018, 2019. I mean, that song's basically 2-3 years old from the time you meet Pete Rock to the time it comes out.
Easily.
How did you come up with the name, The Atonement?
It's basically like, I'm looking at the shirt because I still have a couple of shirts left for The Atonement because the tour got canceled. So like that was the tour. The Atonement tour was the first single off the album. We had like momentum. But yeah, man, Atonement is like the revenge. You know what I mean? It's the reprisal. It's like wake up. We ain't going anywhere. Like y'all disrespected us for too long. When I say disrespected us, I just mean that they're not giving us our just due. It's like we're not. Yeah. You talk about these MCs in these categories, in these classes, I feel like we're always left out. And cats respect us and show us love. And we have plenty of fucking fan support. We have Euro tours and awards and, collabs with legends. But I've always felt a chip on my shoulder that like we're always left out because we're not in a box. We're not a trend rapper. We're not a trap rapper. We're not a thug rapper. We're not a nerd rapper. We just do good music. That's it. That's the only goal I have is to make good music, And I think that it's just like high school, man. Like I didn't sit at a table. You know what I mean? Right. Like I played basketball. I was the captain of the basketball team. I got a scholarship to play basketball in college, but I wasn't like sitting just with the jocks. I wasn't you know what I mean? I'd mess with everybody. So you couldn't box us in. And I guess you could say underground rapper, but that's not even true. We're doing underground because I'm older and my audience is older. I can't tattoo my face right now, they pop some fucking Xanax and say that I'm like, a new age rapper and start doing like this auto-tune shit. Like, and I'm not disrespecting it. I'm just saying that like that doesn't work for me. I don't have a $2 million budget to be played on the radio for a year. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like we're making music that's timeless, that has a niche audience for the underground. You know what I mean? But we can do that commercial shit too. I just don't have the budget or the ability to fake who I am and stop making music for a demographic that I don't relate to. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's some real shit.
That's some real shit. And the song is The Atonement, produced by the legendary Pete Rock. It's ferocious, and we're going to give you a little taste of it right now.
Flow atomic, blow fire like your choker chronic. Came up sick like the back of your throat with vomit. Iconic stature, looking right past you. Study my quotes like a monk in the book of the pastor. Stop sleeping. You ain't equal, we're not even. You squids were caught creeping. I live in a lost deep and I've given my thoughts, penned them down. Demon. When I exit now, I hear them say a star's leaving. It's shock season, the eyes are turning black. You lie, confirm the facts. I climb and burn through tracks. I'm eating now. Get in line, you heard the next. Go speak out, slap your spine out your turtleneck. It's mine for the taking. Blackout, lock the doors, cut the lights, shut the blinds in the basement. Now you gotta stay. Scripted like it was Sutter Kane. This the moment the TV camera needs to cut away. I'm done asking, slurred words, gum slapping. This mumble rap, these nerds deserve gun clapping. I'm dumb nice, spray fire, raise the gun price. Don't believe you fucking stupid like Trump's wife. We need a new leader, so we need to search among us. Don't let him disperse the fungus, the venom, the serpent's tongue is tether meant to murder hundreds. Abundance of hate mongers, the papers that pay pundits. These puppets of days numbered. I hear you talking, but you really need to say something. Long as I got brain function and blood in my veins pumping, I'ma keep on fighting. The goal is to be enlightened. The flow is like breathing lightning. Never notice equal writing. As long as I've been spitting, I didn't admit it. I'm the best that ever did it. Die with flesh wrapped in gold linen. Got minions who carry my clothes, tearing through shows, bury my foes, bump me to your stereo blows.
Death's knocking on the front door right now. Looking to repent, but you don't know how. Something's gotta give some way, somehow. Right now. Death's knocking on the front door right now. Looking to repent, but you don't know how. Something's gotta give some way, somehow. Right now.
That was The Atonement. It's available now on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your music, and soon to be released on Ego and the Enemy 2. Awesome, great work, M. Let everybody know where they can find you at.
At M. Boston. That's it, everywhere, across all platforms. MDOT Boston. Appreciate you having me, man.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll catch up again soon on another episode. Thanks for stopping by to break it down with us. And to everybody listening out there, more great episodes to come. We're going to be speaking with M. again, EMS members, Own Lane Music affiliates. If you have a song you want us to break down with an artist, if you know an artist that you want us to chop it up with, hit us up. And thanks for tuning in to Break It Down. We'll catch you on the next episode. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Break It Down. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you get your podcast. If there's a song or video you want us to break down with an artist, hit us up on social media at Own Lane Music, or hit the artist up directly and mention our show, Break It Down, and maybe we can talk to him. That's it. Be great, everyone.